Alright guys, today we're going to talk about Holochain's future. Really, it's going to be about how risky Holochain is and really the discussion about Holochain versus blockchain. Because I read this article and it was a very biased article, I would say, because the author went on a rant about blockchain and how crappy it is compared to Holochain. Well, on Holochain side, he didn't really say much about it, not things that we already know. But I want to give you that lesson in today's video of how to really take a look at an article and take a look at the author and really see whether that opinion is something that you should adopt. But not only that, today we're really going to take a look at Holochain versus blockchain and why I really think that both blockchain and Holochain, they're just going to be in the market working coincidentally like Cardano and Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain, for example. Like, I really don't understand why we have that need to tell other people that, oh, your project is crap, my project's the best, or, oh, that's a crappy project, why are you investing in that? We're all too mean to each other. I don't know why we do that. All that matters in the end of the day is profits. How much did you profit from your buy-in to when you sold out, right? If you agree with me, then please be sure to smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and now let's just jump into the video. Anyways guys, before we start, just want to give Heiki here a shout out because he is the moderator for Holochain group, which you should join if you haven't joined yet. He drops a lot of information for free to educate us, and I can't thank him enough. And he also dropped this article which we'll talk about today, the future of blockchain. I'll drop this in the pinned comments below so you could read it as well if you're interested, but we're just going to talk about that in this video. So the argument of that article is that blockchain is overvalued because if we take the example of a Litecoin at $5 and a Litecoin at $185, they do exactly the same thing. Similarly, with Bitcoin at $200 and Bitcoin at 50 or 60K, it does exactly the same thing. So that's kind of like the argument, the evidence to support the argument that blockchain is overvalued. Now, I would say that for most people who are investors, short-term investors or traders, they are using the intrinsic value. Even Warren Buffett, he looks at the intrinsic value, what the company or currency is actually worth. And if it's undervalued, then we buy it and we wait for it to appreciate before selling out. If it's overvalued, then we short it. The article argued that blockchain achieves its value by what the market does and that the market is heavily manipulated. And I would agree to some extent. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some other coins that are really popular, those are heavily manipulated. But I don't believe that statement can be applied everywhere because blockchain is decentralized. That's how it's designed. There was another argument that said that blockchain is an unregulated industry, which I agree, it is, but that there is no product other than the coins or the tokens that it is selling. Only miners, stakers, and exchanges make money. And that is why you don't smoke crack, kids, because NFTs were huge this year, and NFTs provide value. They're a store of value. Art is a store of value, and NFTs is just taking that art and put it in a digital form. And I really do think that there is going to be an even huger boom. I don't even know if that's a word, huger, but I believe that there's going to be even more bigger boom for NFTs coming along the way. People will always collect what is scarce, and digital art, digital land, that is scarce because we can code it into the algorithm. Bitcoin is scarce. That is why there's value in it. The value in Bitcoin isn't its utility. I mean, it can only do 7 transactions per second. How useful is that? But the utility of Bitcoin is that it replaces gold. It's gold 2.0. So if you read the article, much of the entire article is just a huge rant with opinion, not facts. And I really hope that you could see that when you're reading articles yourself, because that entire article went on to bash blockchain technology, which I wholeheartedly don't quite agree with. I think if you have blockchain technology or cryptos that are based on blockchain, then you should be fine. But what won't be fine is if you don't get 5 Ethereum, because I really do think that everybody should have at least 5 Ethereum in their portfolio. And if you want to know where I got that from, then watch the video that I have right there. Also, another tip that is non-crypto related but will help you in every walks of life is just to study human behavior. When people publish videos or articles of themselves, then you should really watch how they write or how they present themselves, because that tells a whole entire story about, is this person someone that I can trust? Is their opinion something that I can trust? It says a lot when someone curses or blames or complains. You could see that I never do that in any of my videos. And if you come across those people, then you generally don't want to adopt their ideas because it's generally negative and that'll lead you to a pretty dicey path. I know I've been there before and I learned my lesson. So I hope you learned that lesson from me and and not from you doing it yourself. But I gotta tell you, that article was one hell of a conspiracy theory article. Along that article, they argued about the price of cryptos, especially the price of Bitcoin, and they said that the price of Bitcoin will go under $5,000 because it doesn't solve any problems. It creates them, like the energy problem. It doesn't pay hodlers and it punishes them for transacting. Me personally, I really do think that Bitcoin will go to a million, over a million. There's only 21 million Bitcoin, and there are, well, I think like around 52 millionaires in the world now. So if they all wanted a Bitcoin, that price is gonna skyrocket. We can also say the same thing about gold. It inherently does nothing. It's a great conductor for electricity, but most of it is kept at Fort Knox. And the current market cap of gold is around $11.7 trillion. Why is it valued at 11 trillion? Because it's scarce. People value scarcity. It's wired in our biology. And when the government prints too much money, which they are doing right now, millionaires are not going to just stand by and do nothing. They are not millionaires by being dumb. They'll go in and grab as many Bitcoin as they possibly can. And another thing I read on the article is that it said that Uniswap runs entirely on AWS. And here's the fact. You can have an app that works with blockchain run on AWS. That is completely fine. That is called the front end. They need a UI for you to interact with their app that interacts with the blockchain in order for you to swap tokens, for example. So what they said in that article was just very, very uneducated. It really feels like the janitor is writing about how software engineering works. What you see when you go to the Uniswap app is the front end. This is the UI for you to interact with it. Once you click that swap button in the back end will call contracts that are on the blockchain. And that is not on AWS. That is blockchain technology. So I hope you learned something today. But here's what the Wiseman said about Holochain. The article really said a lot about nothing. It was just a bunch of speculation and a whole lot of nonsense. But what I did agree with is that Holochain is just basically currency for hosting. And that is correct. My personal goal is really just to get 1 million holo tokens or hot tokens, then exchange them for holo fuel. But I have to buy these tokens at a certain price level. I have price levels and I talked about them in several of my videos over there. So check out my Holochain guide because you'll learn everything you need to know. But if I don't get 1 million, no big deal, because Holochain is still very much a concept. It's not live yet, which means that there's a huge chance of failure because it's not the best product that succeeds. It's the best marketed product that succeeds. The thing is just to manage your risks. Am I okay with losing 1 or 2K on a bet on Holochain? Absolutely. 1 or 2K is fine. I am not going to lose any sleep over it. But if 1 or 2K is too much for you, you're going to lose sleep, then you're over leveraged. You're over invested. A good rule of thumb is just 1% of your entire portfolio. Remember, money will always come back to you, and that is a really good mindset to have. And if we use the price levels of 0.0004 to 0.0006, then you'd be bagging at least 250K or 166K of hot tokens for $1,000. Alright guys, before we continue on with the Holochain video, a bunch of you emailed in asking me about my passive income stream. So I created a page here that details all the passive income streams that I currently do, from passive income streams that does not require money and has no risk to some that require money and has risks. So you can check that out there. You can also get a free book that I wrote on how to leverage the bank's money to profit for yourself. So that is completely free. You just gotta go over there and check it out. Alright, now back to the video. So what's the ideal? Let's step back into history and take a look at what happened. In history, when there's some sort of financial crisis, like what's happening right now in Myanmar with the coup, or post-World War I when Germany and the Axis power had to pay retributions to the Allies because they lost the war, they were always brokers of currency. Holofuel is the currency for the Holo network, but that currency will only be valuable if the Holo network gets adopted, which is the reason why I'm not a don't go all in on the Holochain, because I am very risk averse and I am very conservative when it comes to my investments. But however, if Holochain get their marketing on track, get in those partnerships, and they get adopted, then there are two things that I'm very interested in doing. One is being a currency broker of Holofuel, and having my own treasury of Holofuel that I bought for pennies, that will make me smile. Because being adopted, a network being adopted, means that they will have the network effect. The network effect will mean that more and more people will get onto the network and they they will all demand holofuel, which means that the holofuel that you have, the price of that holofuel will rise because of increased demand. The second thing is to be an actual host. I made 2 videos that talk about Holochain as an AWS competitor, and you can watch those here. You are the government's preferred host and Cardano versus Holochain showdown. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at becoming a host, becoming Amazon's competitor by leveraging Holochain, because Amazon Web Services is the #1 revenue stream that brings Amazon the most money of all their business streams. So when you guys are talking about appreciation, okay, that's great and all, but that is not even the game that I'm playing. Holochain is still very much of a bet, but a good bet. If you want something even better, then maybe look at Ecomi or something, because that is a good project. Anyways, this is all just my opinion, and you can take that opinion and put it in a trash can or actually adopt it. Just judge me on how I present the information and how I go about with Holochain. I told you exactly how I'm playing this game. The biggest risk for Holo is them not being adopted, and really, their marketing game is not that great, and they really need to work on that. But I do think the technology is legit and there is a future for it. And lastly, I don't know, I'm Chinese and my dad is a betting man, so I am a betting man too. So if you are a betting man or woman, then maybe it's something to get into. I don't know, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, that's all for today's video. Please be sure to smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, check out these other videos on cryptocurrencies on passive income, and I'll see you next time. Peace!